What's the strangest thing you've ever been caught doing? Running in on all fours up the stairs in underwear. Didn't realize my best friend had already come over, and I ran into him at dick level. That sounds like some grudge shit right there. Activate instant kill. When I bought my first pair of night vision goggles, I had them delivered to the TV station I worked at, not trusting my neighbors to leave my crap alone. So, I took a break and tried them out in the only truly dark room I could find, the men's room. A coworker came in, flicked on the lights, and was startled to find me in the middle of the room, blinded by the sudden flash of normal light, brushing my teeth in the pitch dark with night vision goggles. I had to go talk to Ours about it. He was freaked out. One morning I woke up strangely early, around 5 or 6, without an alarm. I was bored and proceeded to lift up my top mattress and just lay between the bottom and top ones. Mom walked in, extremely confused. I couldn't really explain. I didn't know what I was doing myself. She asked if I needed help. It was 3 AM and 15-year-old me was taking a shit and got a blood nose. Now for context, I get real bad nosebleeds and usually just keep my head up and it goes away. Well, I was bored. So I thought, what if I just keep my head down and let it drip? I know, very stupid. Blood was all over the floor. I had every intent to just clean it up with tissues and flush it. No evidence of my little experiment. What I didn't know was that my mum was actually awake and was waiting for me to finish in the toilet for her turn. I didn't lock the door because it was 3 AM and I didn't think I needed to. Well, she opens the door. Semen Demon 16Y, are you taking so well? She sees the blood, starts freaking TF out. Thinks I'm either dead or dying. I start yelling trying to explain myself. Mum starts crying thinking she's gonna lose her son. My sister walks out her room from the crying and the yelling. Sees the blood. Freaks TF out as well. After a bit of panic I eventually explained my stupid experiment. I cleaned it up and we all went to bed. But I don't think anybody slept after that traumatic experience. As a pet sitter, sometimes you get lonely when the majority of your interactions are with animals. So, to combat this, I sometimes pretend to be the inner voice of whatever dog I'm walking, responding out loud to whatever they're sniffing, or whatever grabs their attention. Each dog has his/her own weird voice as well. More than once people have walked around a corner to hear me doing this. Oh man. So I must have been about 12. I was in the car with my mom. To set the scene, it was a 3-row soccer mom van, and I was in the second row behind the passenger seat with my mom driving. Well, since I was 12 I got my random hormone boner. Strange and awkward enough, right? Well, I decide that I would pretend I was driving and that my boner was the stick shift. Mom caught me. Had a co-worker that was working at a customer site. He had a creepy little crush on one of the women that worked there, but it was apparently innocent enough that no one really cared. Until one day the woman came back from lunch and saw him pick up the cushion from her chair and sniff it. He was asked to leave. A coworker caught me sniffing her chair. I was using it for a meeting, since she was supposed to be out for the day, and her cube was right beside the conference room. I spilled coffee on it, and I cleaned it well, since she was in that cube farthest from the break room, since she hated the smell of coffee, so I cleaned it well. She came in to get something, and got a good laugh from catching me. Thank God she laughed instead of being revolted. I was in standstill traffic, i.e. car had been turned off, people were loitering outside of their cars, and I had a baby squirrel that I was hand rearing in my car. I fed it some puppy milk formula from a bottle, looked up and realized I had an audience of about 20 people gawking at me. When I was around 10 years old I was getting curious about sex, so I decided to look it up in the dictionary. Wouldn't you know it, my ultra-conservative mother walks in the room, so I try to play it off, like I was looking up the Haida Native American tribe. She called me out for being in the S's, but I doubled down and pretended I was possibly dyslexic. What a tangled web I wove. This reminds me of all the doll orgies I would host. I remember once my mom unexpectedly walked in, so I hurriedly sat on a pile of naked, pointy Barbies and Kens, as if that would hide the obvious. This is when my best friend and I diverged in puberty. I wanted to make the orgies. She still wanted to just play Barbies. One time my girlfriend and I had just left the house. She then remembered she needed something and went back in. Now, our house, Golders Green, London, was semi-detached with the neighbor's house. The neighbor's motorbike was kind of in our shared front yard. Since I was waiting for my girlfriend, I decided to sit on the motorbike. I heard the front door of the house close behind me, so, trying to be funny for my girlfriend, I leaned over the tank of the motorbike and started pretending to rev the throttle and making vroom, vroom motorbike noises. Like, really getting into it. I didn't hear any laughing, so I turned around, and it was actually my neighbor standing there with this what the fuck look on his face. Popping my friend's back by picking him up from behind and bouncing him repeatedly. A teacher walked into the room and we all froze. Ah yes, the Drax technique. I once saw an old bloke slowly walk near a tree, have his hat pushed off by one of the low-hanging branches, then proceed to, slowly, pick up the hat, declare I avenge myself in a neutral tone, and then break a twig off the tree before slowly walking off. 1. I was like 13 or 14 in my room alone, my window wide opened, when I started to wonder if I ever got kissed what the other person would be seeing from their perspective. So I went up to my closet, which had those floor-length mirrors, and I started kissing the mirror, opening my eyes every once in a while to see if I looked at all attractive doing this. One of those times I opened my eyes. I saw my brother outside my wide open window through the mirror looking at me with such a confused look on his face. I screamed and fell to the floor and hid in my room for a while. 2. I was a kid and creeped out by cousin's creepy doll. One morning me and the doll were alone in her room and I grabbed the doll and started to shake it, and while I was yelling at it that I knew it could talk, my cousin walked in and was like, "What are you doing?" And I brought the doll close to me and caressed it and said I was just kidding. She kept the doll away from me after that. I stand with your brother and your cousin. I was once caught by an ex-girlfriend playing her cat like a banjo. I had both Slush's front paws in my hand and was strumming on his tummy. The cat was purring so loud it made her come in to see what was going on. It was a long awkward pause. What? By are you playing my cat? This is awesome. What happened afterward? Did you make an excuse or just say yes that was what was occurring? They did say ex-girlfriend. I was playing VR chat with a skeleton skin on, and I kept doing stupid dances that may or may not have involved a jerk-off motion. I heard my wife's voice from outside the headset go, "What the fuck?" Walking across the road to the dumpster with a bag of trash. One arm pulled into my hoodie, flapping it like a wing, and slowly moving forward while going in circles. Saying to myself, flying in circles, flying in circles. Realizing that I was not circling in the right direction for the wing I had, and reversing to circle opposite wise. Saying flying in circles the wrong way. Come back inside and find that my whole family had been watching me. I was called in to assist my wife with putting together a friend's baby shower when her helper bailed at the last minute. My job was to prep the dirty diaper game, which, if you've not heard of it, is played like this. An assortment of name brand candy bars and chocolates are unwrapped and then mushed into a diaper so as to resemble a baby's dirty diaper. The game participants then assess the contents of each dirty diaper and have a guess at what candy bar might be lurking within. Whoever has the most correct answers wins. Now, seeing that I was called in at the last minute, I had to complete the task while at work. So there I was, in my office, 15 or so diapers laying open on my desk, sleeves rolled up, hurriedly rolling what appeared to be a gooey nutty turd in my hands, when my boss walks in. We make eye contact. He glances at my work, looks at me, as though I'm dangerously unstable, then slowly steps back out of the office without saying a word. We've never spoken of it. I was 14 getting it on with my hand and surround sound headphones. My dad walks in on me half asleep and mumbles, "What are you doing, boy?" and shuts the door, but then comes back in to verify what he's witnessed and has the audacity to say, "You playing with your meat?" Anyone else read those quotes in the voice of Foghorn Leghorn? "Boy, I say boy, are you playing with your meat? Chockin' your chicken, as they say. I say son, lem show ya how it's really done. Show ya the old technique that is. This boy's making more noise than a couple o' skeletons throwing a fit on a tin roof." I was 16. Masturbating in my room. Turned on CNN as background/cover noise so as to not arouse suspicion. While I was watching porn on my computer, my stomach dropped when I heard the door open, and I knew I only had time to make one action before my mom walked in, so I turned off the computer monitor. Mom walked in to see me holding my erect penis while watching Anderson Cooper. She just casually backed out of the room and closed the door. It's never come up in conversation with her, and I'm glad we never had to talk about that, but every once in a while she still reminds me, you know, I'd still love you if you were gay. You can always tell me. TL. Doctor basically got caught accidentally jerking it to Anderson Cooper. When I was about 14 I started to cum a lot, and so whenever I jacked off, I had to come up with something that would make it easier for me to cover the tracks, if you know what I'm saying. So I started wrapping my dick with toilet paper. It looked like a mummy, but it did the trick. A mummy dick. So one time, I'm in the zone in my toilet, jacking it, watching some adult content on my PSP, and all of a sudden my mom comes in and hands me the phone. Apparently my friend couldn't find a better time to call me. So 10 years later I still remember the look on my mama's face when she saw me with my PSP in left hand and a mummy dick in the right one. One time my then girlfriend's mom caught me pissing in her kitchen sink when I was bummed out on Ambien. I had no recollection of it the next morning. In 3rd grade, I went to the bathroom and, thinking I was alone, put my hands against the wall, leaned forward, and let out a long gigantic. Afterwards I let out a nice big sigh of relief and pleasure. I turned around. That some other kids had come in as I was releasing that massive fart. Did not look them in the eyes as I left. Edit. Just to clarify due to comments, it's not the fart that was strange, no matter how long it may have been. It's the hands against the wall, prepping my body to let it rip, and moaning "Wong" afterwards. I kinda did this. I wear headphones at work and I ran out to my car, and as I was leaning in I ripped a monster. When I got out of the car some lady was walking her dog 2 feet away. I hadn't heard her because of the headphones, but the look of shock was enough. I walked by like I didn't realize she was there.